everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and I'm going to do the first part of this episode solo. I'm going to knock out some of the odds and ends and the random things for the show, and then we're going to patch in a conversation I had with my good friend, Dan Evans. And we do something we've never done here before on the Loot Bros Podcast. We are going to do a super deep dive on the upcoming Flash movie, the trailer that just popped out for the Super Bowl. We had an excellent conversation, a great time talking about the Flash, about the Snyderverse. Now, I know some of you guys listen to this and go, oh crap, more Snyderverse. I get it. But there's a lot of things changing right now. There's a lot of things going on in the world of DC and the entertainment field. They're merging everything with their video game leg of DC. And so a lot of things are getting ready to merge and come together. So a lot of this stuff matters for multiple facets, not just the fact that I'm a Snyderverse fan and I really long and wish for things to be restored and to be fixed. But this particular movie reboots the entire franchise. And from this point on, the movies and the games and the shows are all going to tie in together. So the next Arkham game we get will be a direct, leg of the universe. So all that being said, there's a handful of things I want to knock out housekeeping wise before I jump into the leaderboards, and a couple things I want to run by you guys, the listeners of the Loot Bros Podcast. As you're listening to this episode, you're noticing that it's going to come out late. So this past Friday, I came home about noon, lunchtime, and saw that the ceiling in my living room was pouring water from it. So we had a pipe burst behind our shower upstairs. It flooded in between the walls, it was just kind of pouring water into the ceiling downstairs, and it messed up my living room ceiling, the floor, the dividing wall where my basement and everything's at. It's in my office, all that stuff. So a handful of things happened that caused the show to be delayed, and a couple of things are going to happen that's going to cause more disruptions in the way I record for the next few weeks. So just kind of want to put all this out there. Right now, I always use a pretty solid noise reducer on the show. I try to cut down on the background noise, and I always have a fan going in the room when I'm recording because it gets really hot in the office when you turn on all the monitors, the PlayStations, the computers, all that stuff, and then you shut the door so there's less noise. In the room next to me, like really less than 8 feet away from where I'm sitting right now, is a giant dehumidifier that's going to have to run for the next 5 days. And there's mats on the floor with these vacuum systems hooked up to them, sucking the moisture out of my hardwood floors. So there's a ton of freaking noise. Now, I don't think you'll be able to hear too much of it because I did a little bit of recording here this morning just to make sure I was trying to make sure I cut as much of the background noise as possible, but like it is loud. It is super loud in my house and super annoying. And of course, I work in the room next to all the crazy, all the damage and stuff. So I don't think they're going to have to demo my office, but they're going to be here. The demo crew is going to be here in the next few hours. I fixed the plumbing myself. But we did end up filing an insurance claim because there's so much damage. So it's pretty freaking crazy. All that being said, that delayed our Last of Us deep dive coverage. So myself and Tricky Mick are going to get together this week and try to make up for that. So you didn't get the Last of Us episode 6 deep dive this past week, but you will get it this week along with episode 7. So those things kind of got thrown around, and then I had already had this conversation with Dan. We had already recorded and did this crazy in-depth deep dive on the Flash movie trailer. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope that this is something that you find enjoyable. If you don't, I do apologize. This is something that I'm super passionate about. This is something that Dan is super passionate about. So we're excited to get together and talk about these things. But all that being said, myself and the actual podcast crew have had some scheduling difficulties, and on top of the fact that my house is getting ready to be demoed, I know they told me it's going to be 5 days of these vacuums and everything running to make sure everything's dried out. Today they're going to rip out the ceiling, and they're going to rip out the wall in my son's room, which is directly above the living room. where the bathroom butts up to. And of course, I've already ripped that wall out because I had to get in there and fix the pipes behind the shower. So there's a lot of demo work that's going to be done here in the next few weeks. And there's going to be a lot of just patchwork and, crews coming in to do different things. And some stuff I'll be doing myself. So whole bunch going on. So this will most likely disrupt some of my recording scheduling. So I'm going to try and knock out some things. I would imagine the next couple of weeks it's possible we'll have some times where the group and I get together, sometimes where I'm doing things a little more in a solo fashion. I still have several interviews lined up, so I'll be trying to patch those interviews in here and there. But definitely keep the shows pumping out. We'll keep the Patreon content flowing. And just want you guys to know that we appreciate all of your support. That being said, there's a handful of ways, if you're listening to this and you actually like this show, that you can support us. We do have a Patreon. You can get involved for as little as $1 in each and every show. Patreon shows and non-Patreon shows we like to toast. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon producers, Johnny, Sadek, My Name is Effing Mayo, and MZ Effing Nitro, as well as all the other patrons that support us on all the different tiers. We appreciate you guys. And so some of the Patreon content coming up, we're going to continue the deep dive series on The Last of Us. So we're going to see this season through. Now, this has been a overall pretty fun experience. So what we've done for the deep dive, typically you guys get one deep dive a month. You get a video game deep dive or something, a video game adjacent where we dive deep into it. So for this particular month, well, I guess the past 6 weeks rather, 7 if you include this one, Tricky and I have been watching The Last of Us HBO Max series and then doing deep dives on each actual episode. So we're going to continue that for the rest of this month into March. And then from there, in April, we'll pick back up with your normal big video game reviews. I've got a handful in the can that I'm going to be knocking out. I've got a deep dive review coming up on The Stick of Truth. This is a game that I've been playing and I put some more time into this past week. Pledge game from our good friend Red Beer Rick. Definitely give his YouTube channel a shout. Check out Red Beer Rick's Retro Room. Or it might just be called Rick's Retro Room. Actually, I'm not looking at it right now, so I don't remember. Either way, if you look at Rick's Retro Room, I'll try to link it into the description. But definitely check that stuff out. Speaking of YouTube, you can check out my channel, Resident Darrell. I've been posting videos each and every week of myself going hunting video games in the wild and showing just kind of like some of the finds that I have, some of the money, what it's costing, what it's going for. We're looking for items cheap that we can flip on eBay for a profit. And, some weeks it's flea market, some weeks it's thrift stores, some weeks it is random rummage sales. And then this past week, what I did was I ordered a bunch of video games off of Facebook Marketplace, and I've been trying to buy these bundles. And anytime I get a bundle or I get a deal on a bundle, I don't go through all the pictures of it. I mean, most of the time I see the majority of what's in there. And then what I do is I'll order these bundles, let my children open them, so it's completely random to them. They're mystery bundles. And then I let them guess the price, what they think these video games go for. In this past week's video, we did a mystery bundle, but we did it was a challenge for the last can of A&W root beer in the house. And the kids were all arguing over who thought they deserved it. And so we made a video of them guessing the value of video games for it. It was a fun time. These videos don't typically do very well as far as views go for my channel. Anytime I do a mystery box or some sort, they're the least viewed videos that I've released so far, and that's fine. The whole point of the channel was to do something fun with the kids. We're making YouTube videos, whether they're super successful or not, doesn't matter. We're having a good time. If you're into that kind of thing, please go check it out. Resident Darrell on YouTube. New videos come out every Wednesday. Sometimes they're a late Wednesday night, depending on how much editing I get done. So we got the Patreon, we got the YouTube. If you are listening on free feeds, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, all those different things, guys, please leave us reviews or give us the little heart, the thumbs up, whatever there is. If you're listening on Apple, please leave us reviews because I've let that slide. I haven't asked, and really since we launched the Patreon, I figured if you really want to get involved, the Patreon's the place to be. But because I stopped asking for reviews, we stopped getting reviews, and that is definitely something that pushes us out there so other people can see the show. So we definitely would love for you guys to share the show. If you listen to it, tell a friend, all that good stuff. So, all that being said, I'm going to jump into a handful of things that I've been playing, and then I'm going to go on the leaderboards. I'm going to patch in the interview. So, like I said earlier, I've been playing the Stick of Truth. Definitely not my cup of tea. The game is very funny. Very funny. But I've mentioned before, I started the game over a few different times. And the reason why is because I cannot play this in front of my wife and kids. Like, the game's too vulgar. It's very South Park. Yeah. There's a handful of things happening on screen that's just like, yep, I'm not answering the questions on why I'm playing that one. But what I ended up doing is I ended up picking this game up on the PS3, and I've got a monitor on my desk that I have it on. And so during my breaks throughout the day, I've been trying to go on there and play a little bit of the Stick of Truth. I've been chipping away at it much slower than normal games that I play. But it's definitely given me a laugh. So I've definitely gotten a few chuckles out of it. But it is a decent enough little RPG. I think the way that they've made it work in South Park is fascinating. The game is... It's very charming. There's a lot of good to it. Vulgar and gross and funny. So those are definitely the ways that I would describe it. But so far, I'm enjoying my time with it. So I'm chipping away at that one. I got the Platinum and Super Stardust Portable, on PS5. This Super Stardust Portable came out as part of the PlayStation Plus Premium. It's a PSP game made by Housemarque. Didn't have trophies when it launched. They patched in trophies. Absolutely love it. Absolutely enjoyed the full out of it. I've platinumed it twice now, the PS4 version and the PS5 version. More games like this, please. Absolutely stellar. Totally just what a blast. I loved every second of it. I've been playing The Evil Within. So this is a game that I started years and years and years ago. I championed this game coming out, played the first 6 chapters of it, and then put it down. And then never went back. Now, I bought the second game, never even opened the second game. Second game's still in the plastic. So I bought it brand new day one. I was like, yes, Evil Within. I'm going to do this. This has been a series that I just keep putting off. And there's been several times I've restarted it. Several times I'm like, oh man, I need to get back to this. When I think about it, I'm like, I can't believe as a survival horror fan, I have neglected this as much as I have. And then I'll dive back into it and then fall away. There is something about it that is both super charming and something that it doesn't keep my interest. I don't know what it is. Playing through it, and I just beat a couple missions on a couple chapters this past week. Playing through it, it's got all the charm of like a Resident Evil, third-person Resident Evil game. It's got some of the weirdness of like a Grasshopper manufacturing game, like a Shadows of the Damned. Because Shadows of the Damned specifically, you had Suda and you had Shinji Mikami work on that together. I can see that in this game. I can see where it takes itself serious. It's got a lot of Saw energy. And I can't believe actually I said energy, but definitely some Saw influence is probably the best way to put it. But there's something about it that doesn't marry it all together for me. You can definitely tell that this is a team that has a lot of horror influence and they tried to put it all together, but I don't know that it's working well together. There are some missions and some boss fights that are absolutely awesome, but then running through these areas with lots of traps and lots of just Saw inspired and there's a lot of just, I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not sticking. It doesn't have me hooked. When I put in Dead Space 2, I put in Dead Space 2 just because I wanted to play a little bit more Dead Space and get ready for the remake. And when I put it in, it was just like, this is freaking phenomenal, and I couldn't put it down. Dead Space 2 put everything else to the side. So this doesn't connect the way Dead Space 2, and it could be that it's the time and place. I keep trying to play this game off the heels of another game that's slightly better. So I don't know. But I knocked out a couple chapters this week, and overall, I'm enjoying it. Not the best survival horror game I've ever played. Not the worst by any stretch. Not the worst game I've ever played. So definitely going to knock that one out in the coming weeks. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm back into it. So, but something to think about, guys. If you're going to play this on the PS5, it runs like trash, and that's another reason why the past 2 years of having a PS5, I haven't jumped back in this game, because when I got my PS5, this was downloaded on my external hard drive for my PS4. I go to put it on, and I'm just like, this game runs like crap. Like, it does not run well. It tells you when you fire it up, it doesn't run good on PS5, and it's something about, I guess, the way the hard drive loads everything. This game isn't optimized for it, and it doesn't run well. So you got to play it on PS4 for the better experience. And I don't have a PS4 in my office right now. I got my PS4 in my bedroom, and that's kind of part of the reason why I don't. And that's another thing too, is it's in my bedroom. I have to sit in the bed to play. If I get to bed, I fall asleep. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's this part of this, probably this game in particular. Part of the issue is the way I'm playing and the nature of like what it requires. It requires me to be in a place with no distractions to really focus in and dive through it. So, but I'm going to make it through. I'm going to knock out the Evil Within and the Evil Within 2 this year. Those are goals that I have. I just really want to knock those out. Next up, Save Room. This is a Resident Evil inspired puzzle game published by our friends over at Radalaika. If you played Resident Evil 4 and you found yourself rearranging your gun briefcase, this is what this game is. This is Resident Evil 4 Briefcase, the game. And it's fun. I do have an issue with the fact that the music doesn't really change. It's basically the same score nonstop. This is also on my PS4 upstairs. So what I did was, on 2 different occasions this past week, played a little bit of Evil Within, and then I did a palate cleanser of the save room, and then fell asleep. So this is a game that can be knocked out in 2 hours. Maybe more now. I don't know. Now that it's been out for a little while, people are probably knocking it out much faster because they have the solutions already mapped out. I'm not looking at a guide. I'm just enjoying it, playing through it. I've already platinumed it once on PS5. I'm doing the PS4 Platinum now. And it's a bit of a palate cleanser. You know, a little bit of a survival horror before bed, and then a little bit of Resident Evil 4, the briefcase, the game, right before I close my eyes. This past week was weird because it was my birthday. I turned 38 this past week. And the only thing I asked for my family, I was like, hey, I don't want to party. I don't want to go do anything. I was like, I don't want to have to be anywhere. I was like, I just want to play video games. And I felt like I had to beg for that. Like I felt like I got a little bit of like, are you sure? You know, everybody thinks, you know, I want to do this. I want to do that. No, I didn't want to do anything with anybody. I wanted to play video games. So I had my brother and my sister-in-law come over. We played wrestling with my kids, you know, SmackDown versus Raw 2007. Had an absolute blast, laughed our balls off. It was awesome. But that's all I asked for. I said, I just want to eat good food and play video games all weekend. Like a kid, like a teenager. Like, that's just what I wanted. So this weekend, I got a decent amount of game time in. So we played some SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, and I played Gotham Knights. So I woke up Saturday morning. Now, the house had already been destroyed, so I had to wait on the crew to get over here to start drying the place out. I say the house had been destroyed. It wasn't that bad, but it's bad enough to be super inconvenient. So the crew had to come over. So I was like, well, I can't get into anything super involved because they're going to be coming in and out of the house. They're going to be asking me all these questions and have me come out there. I was like, so I just put in Gotham Knights. Now, I've already beaten Gotham Knights. I'm on my New Game Plus. I'm about halfway through the game again, a second time, and I'm just cleaning up the trophies. Gotham Knights is a fun game, grind of a platinum. I'm at 93% on the platinum, and all I have to do now is get, there's 3 different collectibles I haven't finished, and then I have one random trophy where it says defeat 40 Feral Talons, 25 Gladiator Talons, and 15 Hunter Talons. And so basically what I did was I started a New Game Plus because you have to do New Game Plus to get your abilities maxed out. And I'm like, well, I'll just play through the game until I get this naturally, and then I'll knock out the collectibles as I go. These collectibles are a slog. And there's not a really good map system to tell you where it's at. There's a good map system in the game, but it doesn't tell you what collectibles you already have, what you don't have. There's not a good log for that. So extremely frustrating platinum, in my opinion, because the amount of collectibles that it's required of you, that there's nothing in game to help you really narrow down what you have and what you don't have. So, for example, one of the trophies I got this past weekend was called Claiming the Mural High Ground. Is that a moral high ground? and you had to go around and find all of Tim Drake's Gotham City street art. And that's pretty cool because it fleshes out the world and fleshes out Gotham, and it adds, some story, and it's just cool. It's an interesting thing to do. But the problem is, I was using a map to go to all these locations, and I went through all the locations up until I found the last spot I went to was actually the last place that I needed, was the last one I needed for the trophy. So I wasted an hour of my time going to these different locations because there was no way to tell me which one I did and didn't have. Now, it does tell you what you have to dig through the menus, and this is also super frustrating. There is a way to find out like which area you have all the batarangs in, like, or how many batarangs, but it doesn't pop up on the map that you found it here or that these things are still there. It's so limited that it's frustrating. It's not great. So that being said, I'm still chipping away at the Gotham Knights Platinum. I don't even know when I'll have it. It could be another month because I've got every bit of 60 hours in this game, maybe more. And I do enjoy it, and I enjoy the gameplay, and I enjoy the moment to moment being in it. This is a great podcast game, especially now that I've already done all the story stuff. But it's taking way too long. But I've gone too far to give up. So there's that. Next up on the list is a game called Chasing Static. I posted this in the Loot Bros podcast group a few weeks back. This was a first-person horror thriller or mystery thriller, or maybe, I don't know that it's psychological horror. It's a little more sci-fi right now than anything. Definitely some mystery to it. Definitely a little bit of thrills going on. It's called Chasing Static. The game is essentially it's a first-person game. You are this guy who kind of gets lost in this little English town. You go into a diner, you meet this lady, you're like, hey, I need to find how to get to this place. She's like, hey, you know what? I'll show you how to get there if you give me a ride because it's raining so bad I don't want to ride my bike in the rain. So deal. The power goes out in the diner. He goes and fixes the breaker, comes back. She turns into some crazy monster, Constantine style, where she's climbing on the ceiling. And excuse me, you're off to the races. Now you're trying to figure out what's going on. And you keep going to these underground bunkers and these what seem like testing sites. And you're finding all kinds of crazy stuff. Lots of weird imagery. Lots of, psychological things changing. You don't know if you're going crazy, if you're actually seeing and experiencing this stuff. So overall, pretty decent little game. I love that Ratalaika is still publishing games. They didn't succumb to the lowest rung of trophy trash. Very similar to back in 98 or whatever that game was called. This one's a full-length game. I've got probably 4 hours into it. Now, I'm not using a guide, so this is probably easily beaten way faster, get all the trophies. But I'm not using a guide. It's very open world in the sense of like you have a hub area and you wander around aimlessly until you find what you need. Bit of a walk-in simulator in the sense of what was that game? Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, where you have to find these little spirits talking. You have this little, essentially, nuclear waste detector that you're finding spirits with, kind of thing. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's like $5, $10. I don't even remember. Great. I don't want to say it's a great game, but it's very good and it's keeping my attention. And I played Gotham Knights for a couple hours, then I jumped into this, and I quite enjoy it. I'll finish this one. This will be a platinum coming up soon. Might even go through it a second time. Maybe the second time I'll just use a guide so I can knock it out quickly. But definitely an interesting little experience. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for out of indie games. And I think it's pretty cool. Next up, Callisto Protocol. So yesterday morning, I'm recording this on Monday morning. Actually, this show should have already been out 2.5 hours ago. But Callisto Protocol, put it in. I played another couple hours. I mean, nothing crazy. Died a lot. The combat system on this game, everything's weighty, everything's very heavy. Again, coming off of Dead Space, this is not as good as Dead Space. It's just not. And because I'm coming off of Dead Space, both this and The Evil Within feel very restrictive in motion, in movement, in combat. Like, The Evil Within feels a little more like Everything feels slower. Like same thing with Callisto Protocol. Callisto Protocol is noticeably slower of a game, noticeably heavier of a game, and the melee is good, but I don't know. I will suggest if you're going to play the Callisto Protocol, definitely go into the settings and turn the dodge system to automatic. So all you have to do is hold your finger on the thumbstick and it'll automatically hit the dodge, because the timing is very off. Like I struggled so much, died so many times because I couldn't figure the dodge out. And I just went in there and changed it, and now it's much easier. But even still, I'm still dying from doing stupid stuff. And once I have 3 or 4 enemies on me, like it's not like Dead Space where it's just, there's not crowd control options. There's not a ton, unless I haven't unlocked a ton. I've got this one pistol. I've got a couple upgrades to it. I've upgraded my telekinesis hand thing a little bit and my melee weapon, but I feel like I need all these tools. Like in Dead Space, and this is to its credit and detriment, you just focus on your plasma cutter first, and that will give you everything. That is strong enough. That's the only gun you need that is strong enough to help you survive, and you can make your way through Dead Space with that. In Callisto Protocol, I feel like my pistol is almost worthless. There's definitely not a lot of ammo. My melee is good for one-on-one attacks, but when I have 2 or 3 guys on there, I keep dying. And then there's a couple of them that have almost like one shot, like if they grab you, it's very much like, oh well, this is the end of me. Now I will say there was one area in particular where I died a couple times. I was like, man, I can't figure it out. There's one guy shooting projectiles at me. There's one guy who comes running at me on fire. There's another guy who comes out of the side area. And if I run in there, they hit me from the close, the mid, and the long range, and it's kicking my behind. So I went into it like, wait a second, I'm going to grab the first guy with my telekinesis, throw him off this side area. Sure enough, that was easy. Then I recharged my telekinesis and then picked up the next guy and then the third guy. So as long as I died a couple times and then had a chance to get my bearings about me, and then I was able to go into the area, kill everybody without getting hit. And it's like, okay, it's almost like a war of attrition. Because going in and just using the melee over and over and over again, I have struggled, and this has kept me from really sinking my teeth in this game and just running with it. Graphically, the game is amazing. Voice acting wise, it is stellar. Like, I really, really enjoy the production of the game. Every now and again, the fire looks a little funky, like it's a little weird, but it's freaking cool. Like, the game looks and sounds and feels. It feels good when, it feels heavy, like very weighted. But overall, I enjoy the Callisto Protocol, but that's another one that I can't, it's so gory that I don't play that one in front of the kids. And so yesterday, being that it was my actual birthday and the kids were like, I want to hang out with you, but I also want to watch YouTube and play video games. So they would come in for a little while, they'd leave, come in for a little while and leave. And the Callisto Protocol, the death animations are so violent and so gruesome. I think they're awesome. I was like, yeah, I can't play this in front of y'all. So then what I ended up doing was I pivoted to the House of the Dead remake. And my oldest son and I played this together. The House of the Dead remake is freaking stellar. It is so good. It's very short, but it is so good. We played through it and beat it in one sitting, which, an hour. Not much. But it was so much fun. And I think we're actually going to grind through it and maybe try to go for the platinum on there. Looks like there's going to be a couple trophies that are super annoying, but I think if we played it together and just did it and enjoyed the time together, it'll be fine. But man, it looks so good. It plays well. You can do motion controls on it where you just move your controller to aim, or you can just use a thumbstick. And it's awesome. Like, it's still got the campy, cringy dialogue that you love from the House of the Dead games. The actual, shooting is awesome, and it's so fun. Like, that's a co-op game that's just, man, it was a blast. So we sat down and played House of the Dead remake together. It's currently on sale for like $12 or $13 here in the States, and I highly recommend it. I don't know that I recommend it full price because it is so short, but definitely an awesome experience and totally enjoying it, having a blast. The last game I want to bring up, guys, and this one is God, it's such a good freaking game. This one would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This is a game that my wife purchased for me for Christmas. I've had it sitting in the wrapper this whole time, and I told her I wasn't going to open it or play this or God of War Ragnarok until I knocked out Gotham Knights, because she purchased all those games for me. And Gotham Knights, I'm just chipping away this platinum forever. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead. A couple frustrating things to talk about before I get into the actual game itself. The game is not on the disc. The disc is an unlock key. So when you put the disc in, it prompts you and says, do you want to download Warzone? And I tell it no. Then it installs the multiplayer automatically. So that's the first step. The UI is trash. They're getting worse. The Call of Duty UIs are getting worse because they're not focused on the game or even the multiplayer. They're all focused on Warzone. They just want you to play Warzone. The other stuff's there, but like they want you to play Warzone. And I get it. That's where they're making their money, and that's what's super popular right now. I don't want to play Warzone. I don't want it on my console. So super, super, super annoying that, it just kind of crams Warzone down your throat. And then once you get into the menu, it's wave after wave after wave of Battle Pass. I don't want this. Just get out of my face. Then it's laid out like a really bad Hulu or Amazon Prime like operating system. Like it's these panels that scroll left to right, which the last couple Call of Duty games have been like this too, but this one is the worst. You have to dig through the menus to even find out where you can access the campaign for the game. And it's not the top 10 tiers. It's not the last tier. Like, because the last tier says legacy games. So if you go down, you can find yourself accidentally downloading other Call of Duty games that are just going to try to get you to play Warzone. So you have to go into, there's a Modern Warfare tab. It's the second to the end. And then from there, it prompts up the 3 different tiers. And campaign is one of those. So you click on there, I want to play the campaign. Then you say, I want to start a new campaign. Then it says, now you need to install the campaign, because the campaign does not install it. It doesn't give you the option to install it from the get. So it takes you to the store, and then you have to download Campaign Pack 1. I'm like, there must be, if there's a Pack 1, there's other packs. But maybe those are like DLC packs or something coming soon, because the rumor was with this particular Call of Duty, this is the last Call of Duty, annual Call of Duty. We're taking a year off. You're going to get DLC for this one. Okay. But it doesn't give you the option to download anything else from that point. It doesn't give you the option to navigate through the menus. Maybe you want to download something else. That's important, because then I backed out and went and played another game. So I put in Call of Duty, backed out, went and played Chasing Static. Whenever I came back, I jumped into Call of Duty, and it was like, now you got to install Pack 2. So it brings you up another prompt into the store. I was like, well, of course you have to download Pack 2. Why would you not have to download Pack 2? Why wouldn't it just let me download Pack 2 and then start playing Pack 1? No, didn't work that way. So then I back out, and that's, we start playing House of the Dead Remake. So then later I come back home after going to church and going to lunch, and we get back, and it's like, okay, I can finally play Call of Duty. So I played for, 4 or 5 hours yesterday. And it's awesome. It looks amazing. It sounds incredible. One of the options it gives you is to, when you pick the type of sound you're using, if you pick headphones, which is what I started off with my Pulse 3D headset, it's like, do you want to use a bass booster? I'm like, yes, I would. So the first couple hours I'm using my headset, it's so crisp and it sounds so incredible. The game looks amazing. The story's really good. It's high octane action. It's a little less hand-holdy than previous Call of Duties, where it's not like, you're playing the Soap in this game. So it's like, Soap, get over here. Soap, to your left. Soap, over here. Like, it still does some of that stuff because it's Call of Duty and it's directed towards the mass audience. So it does kind of direct you where you need to go sometimes. But for the most part, it allows you to, if you need to find where you're going, you hold down the touchpad and it'll show you your little marker indicator where you need to go. The missions have been really good. The story's been really good. And I've very much enjoyed the game. And so what I've done is I've got my iPad brought up, and I looked, and the platinum is 25 trophies, all campaign trophies and co-op trophies. I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be a really good, Call of Duty platinum to go for. And so I'm going to beat the game the first time through on recruit. Second time, I'll go back and beat it on veteran, and I'll just do my trophy cleanup. Good Lord, that was a mess. I'll do my trophy cleanup. But I was looking through the trophies. I was like, wait a minute. All these are kind of specific actions. They're not actually beat this, do this. Oh, you don't get a trophy for every time you beat a level. It's do this. But then your next playthrough, you got to do something different. And I was like, it's pretty interesting. So what I've done is I just kind of glanced through. I'm like, okay, as I go through the game, I'll do this, this, and this. And then when I come back and play it on hard or veteran, I'll do the other things. So pretty interesting. I got a few trophies in it. I've really enjoyed the game so far. One more quirky thing. My PlayStation 3 different times has told me it was overheating and took me out of the game. And it says, take a break. You know, your PlayStation needs to cool off. But then I got up and put my hand on it. My PlayStation's not hot at all. So I don't know what kind of weird optimization is going on with Call of Duty specifically. And I'm assuming it's telling my PlayStation that it's working hard, like, because graphically it's amazing. And like I would imagine this is what next gen's supposed to look like. This is how Call of Duty games always really showcase the power of the console. So it's like, this is, should be. And there's so much going on UI wise that this should really be using up all of the juice, all the RAM, everything. But so 3 different times it did kick me out of the game, telling me my PlayStation overheated. But that quick resume, I jumped right back into it with the one button. So it was more of a minor annoyance, but I was like, you know what? If you're gonna overheat, you're gonna overheat. But I'm not gonna stop playing because I'm enjoying myself. So overall, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, excellent experience so far. Highly recommend it. It's been really cool, and I just think the crisp Call of Duty gameplay, it's so good, and the guns in this particular one, just the graphics, like, it is absolutely stellar, and it picks up where Modern Warfare left off. So it feels like the Call of Duty games are doing more to stay, like, with like a longer continuing story. And then granted, you got other games that drop in between them, but so far, guys, it's freaking really good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna keep playing through this one. I'm gonna do the co-op with my son, and I'm going for the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Platinum for sure. It grabbed me early enough. I'm like, yeah, totally doing that. So, all right, let's jump into the leaderboards and the backlog beatdown. Let me actually bring up, clicked out of it. Backlog beatdown. Let's do the backlog beatdown first, since I got it up. So we're going to go into the BLB4, the Back for Blood. Definitely want to give a shout out to Gaz. We're going to patch in the trophy rarity audio here in just a few minutes after I knock out all of these leaderboards and stuff, and then we'll go into the final segment of the show. Definitely want to give a shout out to Gaz. We played some Back for Blood 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, something like that. It was really enjoyable. They definitely changed it a lot since the last time I played, so quite enjoying that game. All right, I'm styling on you, bro. Has 82 points. Duplex has 32 points. Diego has 27. Redbeard Rick 24. Gaz with 22. Sadik with 22. Resident Darrell with 20, Departed with 16, JT with 15, Yield with 14, CJ and Kalai with 13, Alex with 12, Dino Killer and John Michael with 10, One Plat Zach with 6, Jared with 6, James and Nerd with 5, MZ with 3, which MZ's going to start putting some points on the board soon because he's trying to platinum all these AC games. Sid with 3, Haley Pickle with 2, and Noah the Builder with 2. That's the backlog beatdown for so far. That's our update. So definitely really enjoying it. You guys are knocking out some stuff. All right. And True Trophies, heading to the True Trophies leaderboard. Affectatious Daunt with 2,828 trophies. That is friggin' ridiculous and incredible. That is amazing. The latest trophy is going through the potions in Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to pick that up soon. I got too much on my plate right now to pick it up, so I definitely can't. And my daughter didn't want to pay full price for it herself, so she's going to wait for me to do it. But definitely getting Hogwarts Legacy very, very soon. The Grounded Gamer with 162 trophies, playing some Arcade Paradise. Mr. Matt spelled backwards with 51 trophies, playing some Genshin Impact. We got Mr. TMNT 84 with playing No Heroes Allowed with 50 trophies. Stink Palm with 46 trophies playing The Quarry. I didn't even make it into the top 5. So it's pretty interesting. But we have 17 people on the board again. So that's pretty good, guys. You keep popping those trophies. Next up, True Achievements. We got I'm Styling on You, Bro, with 6,285 achievement points playing some House Flipper. Sony Pony to You with 1,400 playing some Puzzle Prime. Sadik with 455 playing some How to Survive 2. GDI Master Race tied with 455 playing Marvel's Midnight Suns. Dump Liquor in 5th place with some NBA 2K23, 190 points. And then Harry HJD2011 with 130 achievement points playing some Knockout City. Yet again, beating his dad on a leaderboard. It's amazing. Very, very nice. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to patch in the trophy rarity audio so you guys can get the update from Gaz on what's going on with the trophy rarity contest. And then I'm going to end this show with my conversation with my good friend Dan Evans, where we pick apart the Flash TV spot. Listen at me. It's a TV spot. It was the Super Bowl commercial. I think it actually came out pre-Super Bowl. Either way, it's a great freaking trailer. Like, it really is. Like, even if you're not into the DC, you're not a Snyder fan, if you're not into it, there's so much in there. I'm going to throw some spoilers. Ben Affleck Batman, Michael Keaton Batman, multiple Flashes. It's going to be awesome. It's really going to be a great movie. The early screenings suggest that it's going to be up there with the triple Spider-Man No Way Home. So we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, thank you so much. And here comes the Trophy Rarity Update.
Welcome to another edition of the annual Rarity Contest for 2023, where the goal is common trophies earn you more points than... No, I'm sorry, Tricky, I can't do it. No, it just doesn't have the same ring to it. So, yeah, no, I'm not gonna change it. So, right, so scrap that, everybody. It's the annual Rarity Contest. The rarer, the better. Not the other way around, which Tricky wanted me to promote, but we'll never mind about that. And we'll get into it. I'll try and be a little bit shorter. I know I've said it before. Normally doesn't happen, but we'll see. So we'll start at the bottom of the league table. Just a little summary. It's been a bit of a slow week, I would say. Last week was mixed. This is fairly slow on the whole, but you'll see that from the scores that were that came in. So starting at the bottom, we had the Bearded Nerds. Zach has remained at the bottom all year, and he's trying to keep that record intact as he's regressed in terms of points. He's got -2 for the week, takes him back into the negative, so -1 in total, thanks to a rare trophy becoming uncommon, losing him 2 points. Next up is Kalai. She a little bit unfortunate because actually Kalai has done quite a bit of work on the PlayStation. She's finished Ghost of Tsushima. She's started and sort of beaten the story part of the DLC for that. Unfortunately, she's ended up with a weekly point score of 0 because the every trophy in that game is pretty much common. So unlucky on that, but well done nonetheless on getting the platinum. So every cloud and all that. Next up is in 23rd place is Darth Knight. So Darth Knight, again, another player who hasn't played this PlayStation this week, which has resulted him in a -5 loss for the week, leaving him on 13 points. And then we start entering the people. It's not a good start, is it? The bottom three are -7 points combined. So we start entering the realms of people actually earning points. So we start with Tross, who is in 22nd place, still playing Hogwarts Legacy, and he's earned 8 points this week, moving him up onto 27. Next up in 21st is I'm Styling on You, Bro. He's remained in 21st place, but did have a nice points increase, half the amount of points he's already got. So 23, giving him to 46 in total. So his legacy trophies are still earning him decent points. Next up is Departed 570. He is in 20th place. And he is another one who's playing Hogwarts Legacy. And actually, he's earned grappling with a grap horn. And that's his rarest trophy of the contest so far. He's on 57 points. We then get into from 19th place, 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th is really, really tight between these four people. So Tricky Mick is he's at another 14 points this week, bringing him on to 75 points, and he's playing a bit of rogue company with his last trophy, and he's now, well, in fact, he was level last time as well, but they've scored identical points this week again. Is Jared Stinkpalm, but he also had 14 points, meaning he's again on 75 points. So those two haven't been able to sort of tear away from each other, and he's earned his rarest trophy this week was in Among Us. Just 2 points ahead of those two is the Brain 76. So Riley, he had 10 points this week, giving him 77, and it's another Hogwarts Legacy trophy. So obviously that's what he's playing this week. And then the highest of that group, which seem to have been sticking together now, nobody's really been able to break away from there, is Homer Gets Duffed. He had 8 points this week, giving him 83, so 6 ahead of Riley. And his rarest trophy of the week was Kitchen Nightmares in Overcooked. So into 15th. So there's a little bit of a gap now between Homer and Sadak, who's in 15th. So he's on the 109 points. He didn't have any point increase this week. He did earn qualifying trophies, but obviously he must have had Bouquet elsewhere, which has negated the trophies that I've counted. So he had a 0 point increase, leaving him in 15th. We also had MZ Nitro is in 14th place, and he's remained in 14th place. And that is with 19 points this week, giving him 185 points. So a fair gap between him and Sadak. And he is still doing the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And his rarest trophy was 7 Deadly Seas. So he had 19 points. Diego has bypassed, meaning that sort of Darrell and Nitro can rekindle their sort of bromance, being side by side. The only sort of unusual factor for this week was that they didn't actually swap places. Darrell managed to withstand, I should say, Nitro's challenge, because Darrell only scored 9 points. And he went back to Team Sonic Racing to get his rarest trophy of the week, Shockproof. He's just 3 points ahead of MZ, so he didn't want to pull too far ahead of him. Wanted to keep it nice and close. But it is Darrell's turn to be ahead next week as well, so we'll see if that materialises. In 12th is Drop-In, that one to go, JT. He's again playing Hogwarts Legacy, and he must have played a couple of new games as well, because he did earn qualifying trophies. However, he ended up with the biggest loss of the week so far, minus 17 points, taking him down to 213. So a bit of work to be done to catch up with the top 10, which he was in previously. And then we got Diego continued his ascent at the league table. He had a really good 65 points this week. Looking at his trophies, he was doing a lot of the Tetris Effect, and his rarest trophy was Combo Van Gogh in that game at 9.01%, which incidentally is his rarest trophy of the competition so far. So he's on 238 points. So what's that? It's about 25 points ahead of JT. In we go into the top 10. Sort of Joe maintains his position as 10th place, 21 points this week, giving him 262 in total. And his rarest trophy of the week was a non-qualifying trophy. So that means 21 points for him, to be fair, has come from trophies that he hasn't earned this week. So from trophies improving over time, because his rarest was in No Heroes Allowed at 54.93%, which actually is a common trophy and doesn't qualify for any points in this contest. It might be this next one is Affectatious Donk, he's dropped to 9th from previously being 8th. There isn't much to say about this one because the leaderboards were showing that he's no longer on them. I know this contest, the intensity can really get to you, but hopefully, we'll see him back on the PSMP leaderboards next week, and that will obviously, I'd imagine he'll have double points to catch up on. So because I know he has been playing the PlayStation, so it's not like he hasn't been. But so he's on 273 points. But as I said, I would expect him to move up in next week or the week after, once he finally sort of gets to the bottom of the issue why he's no longer on PSMP leaderboards. So the beneficiary of that anomaly for CJ was Yield, who's moved up a place from 9th to 8th. He's gone up 39 points this week to 287, and he's done the Church in the Darkness still. I know he's been playing that a little while, but obviously he's gone back to it, and that was his rarest trophy of the week so far at 9.50%. In 7th, Dupes has steadied the ship slightly after a few weeks of couple of weeks of negatives and a small total because of it being balanced out with non-qualifying trophies and decay. But he's had 38 points this week. He's on 355, so he's a good 70 odd points clear of Yield. So he's got a fair cushion. However, his rarest trophy this week is Master of Your Craft in Octopath Traveler 2, but I think that is a new game, and we might see some shenanigans like what we saw with the Persona 4 trophies, where they became more common as more people purchased the game and achieved those trophies. So keep your eye on Dupes, because Yield certainly will and may well be looking to overtake him in the next coming weeks if Dupes does suffer from that decay. Corey holds his place in 6th with 36 points this week, 389, playing a bit of Trailmakers. So he's back on it this week after a sort of a slow one last week. And then we move into the top 5. So a little bit of change up in the top 5, which you may have seen on the leaderboard already on Facebook. So 5th, down from 4th, is Alex, who's had 2 drops in subsequent weeks, obviously concentrating on the Dead Space Platinum. He only had 8 points this week, but he does have a nice shiny Platinum to boot, though, so swings and roundabouts. So he's on 489 points, so 100 points clear of Corey. So he's got a fair cushion between it. But as I said, his rarest trophy this week was Concordance Officer in Dead Space at 18.44%, which is actually the Platinum. So well done to you. 49 points ahead of Alex is Marky Fraser, who has leaped up 1. He had 78 points this week. So he's on 520 points. And his rarest trophy this week was City Skyline. So he is now back up into 4th place. Who I think was our week 1 leader at the time. So he had a little bit of a drop. I think 6th was his lowest he dropped to, but he's back up into the top 4 now. So well done to you, Marky. Another drop into 3rd is Redbeard Rick, who had 30 points this week and took him to 641. His rarest in Stranded Deep. So I know that he's been playing some rarer games previously. This is a fairly quiet week for Rick by his standards, his high standards he sets himself. But I'm sure, knowing what he is like, he could turn it on and bosh out 200 points, no problem at all, in the next week or so. As a result of Rick's 30 points, means that I have now snuck into 2nd place. I had the highest weekly increase actually overall, which was 149 points, taking me to 711. The rarest trophy I earned was You Got Cornered, which is in Kickoff Revival. It's Kickoff was a game that I used to play way back when I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old, and they released a remake of this game maybe 5 years ago or so. And it's not it's not a very good game, to be honest, these days. I mean, it was what we knew back then in those days, but it hasn't really changed much, so it's quite difficult. The online is pretty much dead, but I did manage to find a boosting partner to do sort of a large part of the online element, and those online elements consist of ultra rare or very rare trophies. They don't go any lower than that, so that's where a lot of my points came from this week, and that was actually my rarest trophy of the competition so far at 1.14%. But the unstoppable Me Scotes a lot continues his run. He had another 100 points, 125 points this week, taking him to 982 points. So he's got a lead of, 270 odd points at the moment, which is huge. I mean, he could now have a 2-week break from playing anything and probably still be top of the tree. But yeah, fair play to him. He's smashing it out. His rarest was Newbie in Capcom Arcade. So congratulations to George, who's remained at number one now for 3 or 4 weeks, and not only remained there, he's actually built up a significant lead over the rest of the competition. So far, we are still early days. We're only in just the end of the second month, so still a long way to go. But well done so far. In terms of rarest trophies of the week, we're starting at 5. Diego with Combo Van Gogh in Tetris Effect, which was to earn a 15 combo. Redbeard Rick was in 4th with Day 20 and Stranded Deep. That was at 8.73%, and that was for surviving 20 days. Dupes 25 was at 3rd with Master of Your Craft, Octopath Traveler 2 at 2.62%. And that was for learning a job's divine skill. I don't know whether that one is likely to increase or not. By the description, it sounds like it would be a trophy that does become more common. Me Scotes a lot in at 2 with his Newbie trophy in Capcom Arcade at 2.11%, and that was for playing for 10 hours. And yours truly was at number 1 with You Got Cornered in Kickoff Revival at 1.14%, and that was to score a goal from a corner. It sounds simple, but because of the controls, it's not. So take my word for it, because you don't want to play it. So that changes things slightly upon the rarest trophies of the contest so far. So in at 5 I think it still stays in at 5 actually, is Dance Addiction in Just Dance by Marky Fraser at 2.34% for completing 100 songs. Me Scoteslot brings his rarest trophy down, and he's at 2.11%, play for 10 hours, and that was in Capcom Arcade. Yield, which he'd been on the top for quite a while, has now dropped to 3rd with his pro team in Deep Rock Galactic at 1.15%. Which was for earning silver promotions for Dwarves. I come in at number 2 with my Kickoff Revival trophy that I earned this week. But Rick still holds the rarest trophy of the competition so far in Hardcore Gamer, 0.84%. And that was play any game a total of 1,000 times. Bear in mind that Me Scoteslot has also achieved that trophy, but I am, as I said, only going by the first person that earned that. So that's why Rick is on for that trophy, and Me Scoteslot is on for 2.11% instead. Platinum shout-outs. Again, not as many as even last week, and last week was a fairly drier week, and 4 of those are taken up by 2 people in the same game. So we'll start with I was going to say the most common, but they're two the same. So Mr. TMNT84 and the Grounded Gamer, so Corey, have achieved the Platinum Trophy in Pinball Heroes, obviously both on the PS5 version and the PS4 version, because one is at 82.81% and the other is at 79.57%. So both of those have achieved 2 Platinums for those games, so well done to you both. Next up is Resident Darrell in Super Stardust Portable, another PS Premium game that you can access on the service, and that's at 59.34%. So Well done to you, Darrell, on that platinum. Kalai is at next with her platinum in Ghost of Tsushima at 51.07%, and that's an impressive feat just purely because the amount of hours it does take to complete that game. So well done to you. You've achieved it quicker than what I thought you would. So well done. And that sounded quite patronising there, didn't it? I didn't mean it to sound patronising, no, but genuinely well done. Mark Fraser was the final one of our platinums, and he got it in Disney Classic Games, Aladdin and Lion King at 47.7. I have a feeling that game, I remember wanting that game at one point, but I think there's a debug menu in that game, I believe, where you can get the platinum in about 20 minutes or something. So I haven't checked the timestamps to see whether he did it genuinely or not, but nonetheless, it's still a platinum trophy earned. So well done to you. So congratulations to everybody for doing well, for your platinums, for your rarest trophies. Really pleased with how it's going. Please provide me any feedback that you think might improve it, or whether I'm doing anything wrong, or whether anything what you enjoy. It's all very welcome. But for now, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros podcast. Loot Bros versus the Godfo universe. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and with me today again, my man Dan Evans. How you doing?
What up, buddy?
I am hanging in there, man. Hanging there. Oh, wait, let me back it up. I am doing well. I am blessed, better than I deserve. All those things. Trying really hard to rephrase reteach myself on how I respond to things, because everybody thinks I want to kill myself for some reason.
For the power of life and death lies in the tongue. Didn't the Bible say that?
That's right. That's right. And salt water and fresh water can't come out the same spout. So
unless you're Josh Adams,
and you can say the F word with love.
I was going to say that dude is used to salt water coming out a lot of orifices.
Whoa. So I just was looking at it. Right. We were talking back and forth a minute ago. Very, very briefly, like seconds ago, actually. And I was like, yeah, I've done this podcasting a few times. And according to Apple Podcasts, I have 245 episodes live.
Jeez.
That doesn't count the original 77 that we did on our first feed. So we're over 300 deep on that one. And then Patreon, there's another 50 plus Patreon episodes. So I'm getting close to the 400 mark. And I'm still not good at it. Nor am I successful.
Nah.
So there's that.
Maybe if you took your top off. Subs start dropping.
That's right. Oh, no. Wait a second. That's the opposite effect. So, Dan, we're here. Mm-hmm. We just got to witness, in my opinion, one of the greatest trailers we've seen in recent years for a lot of reasons. We got to see the Flash trailer debuting as the number one commercial for the Super Bowl this past year. I read that this morning. What do you think?
Man, I loved it. I think, again, with Black Adam and now this, I think that DC, had they kept where they were going, starting darker and getting a little bit lighter and getting that nice blend, could have made probably the coolest cinematic universe since Star Wars.
Yep.
But I mean, it's bittersweet. Like all of this stuff, it looks really cool. I like Ezra Miller as an actor. He's a little creepy in real life. He's a lot creepy in real life, actually. And he's done terrible things. And but I kind of liked him as the Flash. I think he's a wonderful actor. I think he'll do a good job. Of course, we'll get into some of the stuff that made the trailer really cool, but I mean, it's cool and I want to see it, but of course it's heartbreaking because it's going to reset everything.
Yeah. Again. It's so funny because I've had my hopes and emotions reset so many times in the past couple years. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
They don't either.
It's insane. So, just a quick recap. We had a lot of rumors and speculations coming out that Michael Keaton was going to be removed from this. That was they're saying even still that the end credit scenes of Michael Keaton have been removed. The Batgirl movie that Michael Keaton is in has been canceled. So, going into this, I'm like, well, I don't know what to expect out of said friggin' Flash. I don't even know what rumor was that the Affleck stuff's going to go away. It was going to come out of the Flash movie, and then this thing drops, and I have almost zero hope, zero anticipation for it. I know it's going to happen. I'm like, well, we may or may not see something cool. Who knows? Maybe the scenes that we saw being filmed were supposed to be end credit scenes. Maybe they're not. And after, we've got the Snyder Cut, we got Black Adam. We at the end of Black Adam, we get Henry Cavill announced back, and then they go, "Oh no, just kidding. We're nixing that, rebooting everything, getting a new Superman." It's like, oh, by the way, Flash is still happening, Aquaman's still happening, but we don't know what to even make of that. So we get this trailer, and I'm like mind blown. I'm like, This was awesome. This was so. What is it? Josh said this looks awful Snydery.
Yeah, very Snydery, Snyder-esque.
Very Snyder-esque. There's so much stuff in this trailer, which we'll break down here in a little bit, that is from the Snyderverse. Like
everything good from.
And it's just like, man, I thought it was really cool. I thought that from start to finish, it showed us a lot of stuff. I've been watching the screen grabs and the breakdowns, and I've probably seen the trailer a dozen times now. I watched it 3 or 4 times back to back to back whenever it first dropped. So I thought it was awesome, and I'm going to go see it. I actually put something in the Loot Bros podcast. I was like, hey, let's get a group together. Let's all go watch it together.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
So by the way, earlier, forgot to do this. Oh, that's popping loud for me. I don't know about for you, but for me, that's crazy loud.
No, it's fine.
Shout out to all our Patreon producers.
Yo, old patron.
So good. I've been waiting on that one. So, Dan, where do you want to start, man? Like, you want to start from the beginning? You want to start from just what you thought were highlights? Like, what do you want to do?
I was just going to play it on my end and look at it. I like that they're doing Flashpoint, clearly. I mean, there's not a lot of super stupendous Flash stories you could do of the recent years, other than Flashpoint. I'm gonna be honest, because people can't help but compare it to No Way Home, and a big problem with me with No Way Home for me was the reason everything happened, which is that Spider-Man just sucks.
Spider-Man sucks, and what's his face is a drunk.
Doctor Strange is just retired now, apparently, despite the fact that he's also looking for the Scarlet Witch and all this kind of stuff.
The plot for that movie was so awful. And I said that walking out of it. I said that on the podcast. I was like, this movie, had it not been for the way that they took the 3 Spider-Man introduction, they made the meme, they put a nice little bow at the end of the other movies that didn't get their just due. This movie made those movies make sense and matter in this universe. And for that, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, the movie the premise sucked.
Yeah. It was so dumb. And like they tied it up together kind of, but with the whole, they finally made him Spider-Man by learning responsibility. But it's like, dude, why do I have to watch 3 movies or 2.5 movies of this guy not being Spider-Man?
I don't like him. I don't like Tom Holland.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I like Zendaya more than him, and she's not a great actress.
Oh, she's terrible. She's like a cardboard cutout of a human.
I mean, I like her more than him, though.
Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. That's what every time somebody's like, "Oh, you don't like Tom Holland?" I'm like, "Mr. Stark." No, it's terrible. It's terrible. He's my least favorite Spider-Man.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, he's not Spider-Man, and I don't know. It's like you get 2 checks with that. You get that, and then it's like they've tried to turn Doctor Strange into Tony Stark.
Mr. Stark too.
Because Iron Man's gone, he's dead, but it's like Doctor Strange in the comics never would have done that. Never would have done that spell. And I don't know, it was just dumb. Even the trailer of it was dumb. But anyway, comparing those two, I like that this, like everything in DC that Snyder did, has weight. There's a purpose for it, there's a reason for it, and it hits. I'm excited for the potential of what they could do with it if it succeeds. Like I don't know how this movie ends. I don't know if they just cut off and completely burn every limb of the Snyderverse that could ever happen. But I mean, I'm pumped if this works. And come on, like, I mean, what kind of world are we living in now where the nerds control everything, like James Gunn? When you've got Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton and all these like big swinging actors, like they have no pull anymore. Like Henry Cavill has no pull anymore. Come on,
The Rock, man, he gave it everything he had.
Yeah, like what kind of world is this where these nerds get to control everything?
We fought for this forever, Dan. Remember?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I don't want to like go into the whole trailer without getting your initial thoughts on it.
So I think it's cool. I think that seeing Ben Affleck in the trailer was just like, oh, thank God. Seeing Michael Keaton come in and do the I'm Batman.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Kicking it back to Spider-Man. There was an interview where Tom Holland said that when him and Michael Keaton were doing the Vulture Spider-Man scenes, that Michael Keaton kept leaning over and being like, "I'm Batman." He kept doing that. So that's cool. Now you have my two favorite Batmen of my lifetime together in a film. So for me, this should work on a level that like this should be the biggest film of since BVS.
Yeah.
For me. It should be. We'll see. Now, I don't like Ezra Miller. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he kidnaps people in real life. Okay, actually, that part's pretty cool. Everything else, though, I'm not super keen on. But he was who Zach chose to be our Barry Allen, and that's what we got. I actually liked the dude from Grant, whatever his name is, from the CW Flash.
Yeah, he's a good Flash.
He's a good Flash. But like for me, I've never been super attached to the Flash, so this works just fine. I like the idea of hitting the Flashpoint. That was always supposed to be in the plan. Flashpoint was supposed to reset everything. So really, there's a lot of good coming from this. The fact we saw Zod back in the trailer, which means we're calling right back to Man of Steel. Like, it looks like it's going to be Zod's invasion on a different Earth. And instead of Clark, we got Kara, which is, that's fine. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
No.
And the fact that puts Supergirl and possibly, we don't know yet, but judging from the trailer, that looks like that Keaton and Supergirl are in the same universe. That's pretty cool. I think it's neat. And I think that, judging from some of the screenshots we saw and the quick, you're going to see action scenes with Ben Affleck Batman. You're going to see action scenes with Michael Keaton Batman. And I think for a Batman fan, I think that honestly, this is my tinfoil hat theory. The reason why this movie keeps getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out is because they added more and more Batman to it to save the film.
Yeah.
So
what could you have without him?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But that being said, I think that if we're going to get the big reboot that we've been promised, that we've been threatened with, that we should get Flashpoint should be such a strong send-off to where we walk out of it going, you know what? I mean, it sucks that we're not getting the rest of our movies, but that was awesome. And I think the reason why that trailer is so Batman heavy is because they're going to lean into that. They're going to be like, no, guys. This is just like Batman versus Superman was really a Superman film.
Yeah.
This is The Flash is going to be a Batman film. That's my read from the trailer, and that's my hope as a fan. So overall, I liked it, and I think I like where it's going. There was nothing in the trailer to suggest that I won't like this. So, I think going into it with that attitude, I'm pretty hyped. I think I'm about as hyped as I could possibly be. The only thing that could have been made it better was if it had been Zack Snyder's The Flash.
Yeah.
So,
my worry with the oversaturation of Batman is just that. Like, I'm scared they'll go the comics route, and we're gonna get nothing but 17 different types of Batman, and none of it good.
Well, right now the Batman comics are not good, so I quit buying them.
The artists are great.
Yep,
it's the writers that are terrible.
It's very terrible.
Tom King kind of led the charge on that.
Yeah, it really it's gotten real bad. I've picked up a few runs here and there. Like I picked up, was it Grant Morrison that did Reptilian?
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Even that wasn't great.
Well, man, let's be honest. Morrison's hit or miss.
Like, he really is.
He gets all this praise from like being like the next Alan Moore. It's just called he's like English or whatever. Yeah. But he's hit or miss, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. After this, I don't know if it can not. I don't know if it can satisfy Snyder cultists like ourselves, because man, this, no matter how this ends, I'm still not seeing Superman punch Darkseid in the face. Like,
yeah, you're right.
And I guess what I'm saying is why they clearly had no idea what this movie was going to do. And I'm with you. I think Keaton came in probably later, because I don't know why you would put him in Batgirl, which was supposed to release before, wasn't it?
I don't know. I remember it was done filming and they scrapped it. So yes, maybe. So let's say this, without doing any research, in my memory, Flash was supposed to happen. Batgirl was supposed to come on after that. Okay, and then that was a lot of the hullabaloo in the Snyder, Snyder groups, because they're like, so wait a minute, Flash resets everything and we get Keaton back, which is like, if you're going to give me a different Batman, that's a really good one to give me. But it's like, so we're erasing Batfleck and we're moving forward with Keaton. So then what I started to see, just from my perspective in the Snyder groups, is like, all the Keaton Batman fans that were Ben Affleck Batman fans, then they started to go, wait a second, we don't like Keaton anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the conversation, even right now, some of the memes and conversations and things I saw this morning were just like, they're hostile right now. They're not happy. And it's just kind of like, you guys love Keaton first. I remember being the only Batfleck fan in the room.
Yeah,
I remember what it was like, and everybody's like, "Oh, who's your favorite Batman?" And me owning thousands of Batman comics and figures and all that stuff, and all of Batman, been a Batman dude my whole life, and it's like, "Oh yeah, Ben Affleck, slayed, freaking killed as Batman," and everybody looks at me like, oh, "You don't like Michael Keaton? How dare you?"
I remember people didn't like Bale because of Keaton.
Dude, but Bale also did the weird mouth thing.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where are they? And they had the worst bat voice. It was just, ugh.
Like he couldn't breathe through his nose.
So I went and saw all those movies in the theater.
Yeah.
And I walked out of them going, these are good movies based on the villains.
Yeah.
I didn't like Batman. I didn't like it. I liked the suit in Batman Begins because it was a little more traditional. He couldn't really move his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever he could move his neck, I was just like, this looks like you got a motorcycle helmet on.
Bell man, I don't know what else to call him.
Bell man.
the Bell man cometh. I think he had the best cape. I know that's a weird thing to focus on, but his action shots, the way they did his cape, looked fantastic. And they stole it for this one too, when Keaton's on that bike.
Yeah.
The way he turns and the way that cape moves looks like Bellman's. And that's a weird thing to focus on, but his cape was really cool. If you watch the Nolan trilogy, the way he used it and the way it moves, it's kind of like Spawn. Like, it kind of has a personality of its own. Anyway, no, Keaton's great, of course, and he even brings a slight campiness to the character, which he always has. Just enough in there, like just enough like humor. Like, this Batman enjoys being Batman, and he always has.
And Keaton enjoys being Batman.
Yeah. His face looks great. Like, he still fills out that helmet really good. But of course, Batfleck, I think Batfleck is the best one. And rewatching Batman v Superman again, I never realized how his suit is actually kind of laughing at him and mocking him in the cave. Like if you look at it
was like
empty,
smiling,
it's got
but
a
it's
big
angry.
smile. And I was
Yep.
like, yep. I never noticed that before till I was rewatching it. I was like, yeah, this man Snyder knew what he was doing. But
so good, man.
anyway, what I was gonna say is this is so easy to fix. Like what could have just happened? You have you finish Snyder Cut, you do Flashpoint, and you split the universes.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to it from here. And I don't know why, because all this is going to do, as much as I want to see this movie, man, it's not going to satisfy the Snyder group.
Hmm.
I'm going to like it. Like, I hope I like it. But not to repeat myself, but there's no way this compares to not seeing Darkseid's Omega beams chasing Batman through Apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
You know, I definitely feel that, and I agree with it, to an extent. But like, I seeing the two Batman on screen,
Yep.
I'm just kind of like, that takes all logic out and throws it for me. It's just like, I have this, and this is what I want.
You could have you could have had this, like Flash. You could have had Batgirl or something else with Keaton, and then you could have ended that run with Batman Beyond Keaton.
Oh gosh, that would be so good.
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have done multiple universe stuff. You could have done Snyderverse. You could have done that, which I would just call like the Batman Beyond verse, like make it its own Batman thing. You could still have Matt Reeves stuff, and keep them separated, like the Offspring.
Yeah.
But if you'd have I don't know, if they'd have just finished, man, if they'd have finished it, I don't know. But getting back to this topic, you and I went back and forth a little bit on the book face about the villain in this movie, which it's clearly not just Zod. You said that the toy was leaked of Dark Flash.
Yep.
I'm thinking they're going to make him. Now, I know we've gone back and forth on this. I think they're going to make the other Barry Dark Flash. Because
the blueberry?
Yeah.
It looks like there's
the blueberry, the schnozberry.
I didn't even think of that. It just came out. So, because there's the red Flash, okay, and then there's the blue Flash, but the guy that he keeps seeing that he has like the Ezra versus Ezra, he wears a lot of yellow.
Yep, and his room is yellow. He wears yellow. Everything about him is Reverse Flash.
Right, and so I'm wondering which Flashes we're getting here, because there's the really scrawny looking cat in the cave or whatever, in that tomb that's all messed up that they are looking at. And then there's that weird screenshot of Kara, Supergirl, flying something to the sky.
I think that's Flash.
Yes, Flash.
I've looked at it, and like news reports talking about it have said that that's Flash. So I don't think that's Superman.
Okay. Well,
now,
I'll
journalists are journalists, so there's no telling if they're telling the truth.
Well, the journalists don't like the Snyder fans either. So
that's true.
It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, well, nobody likes journalists.
So we know that our Barry, right? And we know our Barry is Red Flash.
Yeah.
So that means there's a potential for the blue one.
Yeah.
The blueberry, as we're going to call him. And then there is the potential for the Dark Flash, the Bad Flash. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking maybe Bad Flash could be the Wimpy Flash and Wimpy Barry in the cave. So I'm wondering but then the one that wears yellow, that could be Reverse Flash.
They may make them the same person. They may make Reverse Flash Dark Flash.
Okay. The thing is, there's I don't know. What was he called? What's the dark? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know. He's got a name. The all dark evil Flash.
I think they call him Black Flash.
Isn't it Black Flash? That sounds racist.
We got Black Adam. We got Black Flash. Time for
got
Black
the whole-
Superman.
We got the DC Black Label all in.
I would be totally fine with DC Black Label being nothing but black superhero.
Black hair. It's like we
You get some guy just going, damn.
we got Black Flash. We got Jumping Jack Flash. We yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Good Lord.
I think they're going to be the same guy. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, man. Like, if this is just my stupid prediction, I'm thinking maybe that Yellow Flash, the other Barry, we'll call him Blueberry, I think his mom is probably going to die.
Okay.
And that might make him Dark Flash.
Okay.
Now, I could be wrong, but I don't remember Flashpoint 100%, but wasn't it like that his mom has to die?
To make
That's the
our
whole thing.
universe, his mom
Yeah.
has to die. If his mom
Yeah.
lives, then we get dead Bruce
Flashpoint.
Wayne. Thomas Wayne becomes the Batman who kills,
Yeah.
and then Martha Wayne becomes the Joker.
Yeah, but we're not getting that, I don't think. Like,
Right.
unless they're going to make Michael Keaton Thomas Wayne, which it does not look like that's happening.
What was that guy's name that played Negan again? I never remember his name.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Something Dean.
James Dean Morgan, something like that. Something
Yeah.
Dean Morgan.
You know, again, going back to
Jimmy Dean Morgan.
Jimmy Dean Morgan. My name is James. My friends call me Jimmy.
Here's some
Jimmy
sausage.
Dean. So friggin' having James Dean Morgan as the potential Thomas Wayne, he looks like Flashpoint
Yeah,
Wayne.
we could have gotten
Batman.
that, which I think Snyder would have done that. But
Yes, absolutely. God, of course he would. I mean, he put him in BVS, and that's, I mean, like seeing him, and then I never remember what's her face's name. She played Julie or something like that in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But her as a potential Martha Wayne that turns into the Joker, bro,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, casting was on point. That would have been money. That would have just, I mean, it would have printed my money.
Yeah.
But they just kind of, what I'm doing is I had the trailer going up for a little while we were
Mhm.
watching or
Yeah, me
talking.
too. Yeah.
But now I got like that thread that we have together where I've got all the little screenshots in there, the screen grabs. And I just got to say, man, just looking at the bat bite, the
Mhm.
blue and gray, cowl and suit for Batman, like there's some dope stuff in this trailer.
Yeah.
That screenshot of all the different suits in Keaton's verse and his version of the Nightmare suit.
I think what's his name? Ben Affleck looks great.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in better shape than he was even for Justice League. He looks younger.
He looks like he's thinned out a little bit. Like
Yeah.
he looks like his face looks a little thinner, but he just embodies Bruce Wayne. Like for me, that is the Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So, but also that is the Batman as well. Like that's my favorite suit. That's my favorite actor
Yep.
for the, that's my favorite cowl. And that makes the cowl is a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
Like I like Batman a lot, but like the longer and pointier the ears, I don't like that as much. Like the long Halloween is cool and all, and I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but that's a little exaggerated.
Right. And even the ones like the White Knight where he has the collar on his.
Yeah, I like
Not
that
a
one.
huge fan of the collar.
I love that.
What was that other? It was the one where he was fighting Jack the Ripper.
Gotham by Gaslight or whatever.
Yes, which is an amazing story.
Yeah.
But again, having the collar on the thing, I like. And also the Frank Miller,
Yeah.
Batman stuff. I don't even love that story as much as I love the Batman that came from it.
Yeah.
Just that older, grizzled, huge, thick jaw, short, pointy ears Batman. Old
man strong.
Old man strong. Like just. Like I just freaking I love that Batman. I love that what came from that. Now on the flip side, if we're gonna go with a thinner suit, smaller Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yep, he looks great.
Yes. I like that so much better than the other guys.
The my favorite part of the trailer is when Keaton Batman just throws that guy down
Dude.
from the air. like somehow defying physics. Like,
Oh my gosh, the way his
just-
75-year-old behind
Yeah.
flies in the air,
Yeah.
spins around and drops down. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
he's more limber than Batfleck. Got him by 30 years easy.
Also, yeah, like that's a cool that's that movie Batman. Like that's how that guy was in the first
Yeah.
Batman movie. He would bust up your leg and not care.
It was awesome, man. So I think that I think we had the potential to have a really cool movie. And I think that the things they showed in here, like getting into the Supergirl stuff, like, man, she's going to come busting out. You're going to have Supergirl, Flash, and Batman all on the screen at the same time fighting. I mean, you got it in the trailer, and it's awesome. So
I like this Supergirl. I'm going to be honest. Like, I didn't care for her as a character. And then I watched the trailer again, like, man, you know what? She looks really cool. And I've seen people, like, even people that I like on, like, YouTube and stuff, just, of course, they call it woke and stupid. Man, she doesn't look like a dude. She has short hair. I get it. She's beautiful. Like, the actress, whoever plays her, I think she looks great. Like, I wanted that as a figure. Like, I'm going to be honest. That was one of the highlights of this trailer for me. I was like, man, she looks awesome. There's no way she's going to be as strong as Zod, but it'll be a fun fight.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought that, you know, I saw screenshots from her way back when they were filming this thing. I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah, those are bad.
They were bad, and of course they had to, like, you know, Photoshop all her abs and stuff.
They photoshopped her butt out of that one picture. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that looked terrible. I was like, this is a beautiful woman. Just leave her alone. Like,
yeah. I thought that some of the shots coming out of it weren't great, but what we see in the trailer, fully produced, absolutely amazing. So I think that I think it's pretty freaking dope, man. And then, you know, seeing her on screen, having her have her time, because, like, don't get me wrong, if we're not going to do Superman, this is cool, you know.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense to me if you're going to tell this story in an alternate world.
Yeah,
you know, then just do like the comics did. Things got effed up in these other versions, and having her on screen, man, so far she looks awesome. So I think it's gonna be cool.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad it's not a like long blonde haired Kara. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, like with the skirt and everything. But it's like, I mean, this is Flashpoint, and honestly, I didn't want to see an emaciated Henry Cavill. Like,
yeah,
if you pause, there's one scene where there's like some kind of batarang or something up in the air with a rope attached to it that is getting struck by lightning, and they're channeling. I don't know if it's supposed to be the Speed Force, if that's where they're trying to give Barry his powers back, or if that's when they're destroying like Dark Flash.
I don't know. It looks cool though. I will say I had paused it on the shot where their 2 feet come together.
Yep.
And the blue lightning looks like a black suit.
Yep. Let me pull that up too. I've got that one. But it looks like they're fighting together.
Yeah.
Unless that scene is reversed or something weird. I don't know. Like, it'd be really weird if there's a third Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that suit looks really either dark purple. It's got a yellow bolt on it. And that's Dark Flash. Like, that's his suit, I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
I've got a figure on my eBay store right now of that Dark Flash. Let me see if I can bring
his bolt is red. Black Flash's bolt is red.
Go to my store.
But he's also like dead looking and stuff.
Yeah.
But now, to be fair, if we go to that scene where the batarang is getting struck by lightning, and you pause immediately after. Hold on.
No, the one on my store's wearing shorts. Never mind.
Right after he's struck by lightning, they cut to a scene of Barry's face like getting burned and melted by lightning. And I don't know if that's the same scene or not, but that might explain why Black Flash looks so burnt up in the comics and stuff. And that may be how they do it here on this one, you know?
Yeah, because it's coming. It looks like it's not the batarang. It looks like it's the actual Batwing.
Yeah. But that also looks like our Barry, so there's no telling because he has short hair.
But what if Arbery's the bad guy?
Oh, he is Ezra Miller.
The way they punished him for everything he did wrong in life is they killed him in the movie.
And I have paused it. Wow, I did a pretty good job pausing this. The scene at 2:15. And I'll put it. Let me pull it over so it can at least see it on the video version. Can I send you a picture in the messages that let you do that?
Yeah, maybe the one where he's jumped up in the air. Looks like Batman actually, with no cape.
I don't know, but because he's got the lightning around him.
Yep.
Let me take a picture of it and send it. See if I can send it to you. It's where the two Flashes are fighting. Like clearly they're fighting. Oh, dang it, that's not right. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can post this in the message here.
It's where he's drop kicking the one Flash. That's making the Flash tornado.
Yeah. If you got that, Paul's really clear. It's at exactly 2:15 of the Flash official trailer from DC on YouTube.
That's the one I got it on.
Yeah, get it on 2:15. What I'm seeing, I mean, he's like red and black, and he's got a yellow belt.
Yep, that's what I said. It looks kind of like Batman from.
Yeah, that's strange. Let me make that a full screen. Look at that. There's no way he's got the lightning bolts on his legs. Like it's the same guy that was back to back.
Yep.
With our Flash. Yeah, that's.
So I wonder if he's making the tornado and then that Flash is going to energize it by diving into it.
That's a good idea.
Like a super move.
See, I don't know. It looks like he's trying to drop kick our Flash. He does. He hits him. I've got it, Paul. I kept hitting like my space bar. Yeah, he kicks Goodberry, as what we're calling him right, or tries to, and Goodberry gets out of the way. I don't know, man. That's I don't know. To me, like I said, I could be playing way too much into it, but it seems like if you're gonna have this guy decked out in yellow playing Flash, that's got to be a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Especially since we know that Yellow Flash is Reverse Flash is bad guy Flash.
Well,
it was me, Barry.
I hope we get that. Well, and somebody, when the rumors came out, they were talking about when this movie with Dark Flash, whatever, Black Flash, whatever, that his suit was Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if you pause it, that guy's suit, that Flash's suit looks a little bit thicker, like a little bit chunkier than ours. Also, he doesn't appear to be in the scene with our Barry and Batman saving Supergirl. When Barry's like, "What do we do? What's the play, Batman?" And Batman, "Can we try not to die?" I think that's a funny Keaton Batman. I don't know. I like that he's that Keaton was always the not esoteric, what's the word? Eccentric.
Yeah.
He had a weird sense of like, you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Yeah. He was an eccentric Bruce Wayne and like I don't know, he was a crazy dude that loved being Batman. I think that's cool.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Like I know some people are complaining about the CGI. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. The CGI to me is like graphics in a video game where I don't care.
I don't either.
And I don't know unless it's god awful. Like I just don't care. I'm not gonna complain about it.
It has to be really bad, but even then, bad CGI doesn't make a movie bad for me. It just is like, that didn't look good.
Yeah. And people are like, well, it takes you out of it. Like, man, I'm taken out of a movie like every 3 seconds I'm watching it. Probably because we have children. You can't watch anything anymore and enjoy anything. Even when you're by yourself, you're still on high alert. I was checking out Flashpoint, the trade on eBay, and found it for like $7.
I don't think I have the trade. I've got a lot of the issues. I've got issues.
Yeah, you got plenty of issues.
Actually, you know what? I think I should probably look into that too. I know you could always get DC Universe and read through it.
Is that the online stuff?
Is it a comic subscription or whatever?
Man, is that a online?
Mm-hmm. They got an app. It's got access to their entire library.
Man, I can't do it. I respect you and Josh for being able to do that. If I try to read on a screen, I hate it.
I don't do it often anymore. Yeah. I started off. I was a day one adopter, and I had it until they rebranded to DC Universe Infinite. When they did Infinite, they did some stuff and they highlighted things that I couldn't get away from, and it's like, You know what I'm saying? It was whatever the flavor of the month is. It's like, oh, you're gonna that's gonna be my screen now. Okay, well, I think I'll just not. I prefer to buy my comic books and read them physical, anyways. But at work, what I was doing is I was bringing I have my little OGO laptop bag or whatever.
I remember the story.
And I have all these friggin' comic books and stuff in there, and it's like it's easier just to bring your laptop. I mean, your iPad.
Bring your iPad, baby.
That's right. That's right.
I'm still looking at that shot of Dark Flash trying to kick Arbery,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm confused because like you can if you fast forward to the end where he's taking Darkberry or not Arbery is taking a picture of Supergirl. His gloves are black, but like his shoulder looks red, and like the rest of him looks red.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like there's no other shot of him in the suit.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is that I guess they're in the back seat together, and then Batman's driving it. God, Batman's got to be annoyed to have these two little kids around.
These two 25-year-old kids.
Yeah. What's the play? What do we do, Batman? I will say, I just skipped over to 9 seconds into the trailer where it's got the Batfleck cowl and the blood dripping towards it.
Let me see that.
I'm very interested to see what that looks like, what that means.
Oh, yeah. Where is that?
It's 9 seconds in. Now, granted, I don't know how many milliseconds because, you know, how trailers are.
I got it. Is that
quickly.
Barry's house?
I don't know. But if you go to 8 seconds in, somebody's walking into a home and then...
Man. What if he's trying to stop him from going back in time?
I don't know. But if you freeze frame it right about the 10-second mark, you see the cowl on the ground, blood all over the ground. You see like the bat suit behind it, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And then there's a tub right across from it. So I wonder if Batman has disrobed and then has cleaning himself off. This could be the DC Black Label, the Batawang.
Now we saw the Batfleck Awang and Gone Girl, so it won't be too big of a surprise, but it'll still be a nice surprise.
Did it show the Batawang in Gone Girl?
I think it showed like the outline.
Oh, huh. I don't remember that.
Close, man.
That was a killer movie, though.
Yeah, great movie. Great writer, Gillian Flynn. Great writer.
Someone posted a photo of Ben Affleck holding Jennifer Lopez's side, like with her in her bikini on a yacht the other day. And it says at night he's Batman, but during the day he's Buttman.
I loved watching that dude at the Grammys looking so miserable because he looked just like Bruce Wayne at the Grammys.
Yeah. It's like, man, you were born for this. No, that's so funny. So
I just that is like I don't know, like what could hurt Batman in a Flash movie, you know? And if that's why would he be in this house? Like if that's the Flash's house, like you think it's like a Back to the Future thing where like the Flash goes and he just evaporates or something, or
I don't know, but if you look, what's weird, it says another universe, but it's our Batman's cowl, but Michael Keaton's logo behind it. I'm gonna take a screen grab real quick.
Oh, his logo's behind it. Okay. Where? Is that in the back left? Or is it on a suit? Because
it's on the suit. I'm saving it now and I'm sending it.
Oh, you're dead right. Right there. It's between the chin and the chest piece of the cowl. Yep. Yeah. Look at that.
Would you just look at it?
Would you just look at it?
Would you look at that? You know what I always say? Would you just look at it?
Who is that?
Isn't that crazy? So that's definitely that's probably not going to be in the movie. That's probably just going to be
some crap.
That's some bull crap right there to throw us off because they're like, you little nerds, you're going to be looking for all the good stuff.
Yeah, nerds.
Yeah. Nerds.
No. So I wonder. I don't know, because they're dealing with his mom dying. I don't know how you get around it being being Dark Flash. Let me see what I don't know, man. How long is this movie supposed to be?
Hopefully 3 hours and 45 minutes. With 10 minutes of Barry Allen and everything else Batfleck and Keaton Fleck. Keaton.
Bale man.
Old Bale man. I mean, I guess because Val Kilmer's dead, so you can't see him. Adam West is dead, but it'd be really cool if they did do
Is Val
silhouettes.
Kilmer dead?
That's what I read. Is he?
Maybe
Let's see.
he is. I missed that.
Is
I know he was
Val
sick.
Kilmer dead?
He's alive.
He's alive. Okay, so he could be there.
He just can't move. Poor guy. Talk about he's dead.
So there's an article that says October 19th of 2022, Val Kilmer's obituary and cause of death. So maybe it was like one of those fake.
Maybe is he not?
Because it says is the top 3 articles are Val Kilmer's death, what caused Val Kilmer to die, and is Val Kilmer alive?
You're like, thanks, internet, for answering nothing.
Yeah.
So do you think this Barry, when he gets to this universe, like our Barry, is he depowered, you think? Because it's showing them both get the speed force at exactly a minute in, unless it's going through him to get to the other one. Like
I was about to say, my read on it, watching the trailer 17 times, was that our Barry has access to the speed force because we've seen that in our universe. Yeah. This Barry has never had to. He probably doesn't have any flash powers.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because
why
his
are they
mom's
both getting struck by lightning?
Maybe that's from the Snyder Army, and this is bullcrap.
Maybe it's exactly a minute in. They both get struck by it. But clearly, second Barry has to get powered.
Right. I'm just wondering, because if you look, if you go back, so while Barry's telling the story of his...
Wild Barry.
So there's yellow shirt Barry.
Yeah.
And then there's blue shirt Barry. Yellow shirt Barry's dancing with his mom, blue shirt Barry, mom is dying on the floor. So I don't know if that's all in the same universe, if you're going to see part of that as our Barry's mom died, and then we see that the other Barry's mom is alive. But I do like the Flash suit.
Yeah.
They changed it up a little bit. I think it's pretty dope. A little more basic, actually.
I think clearly the emaciated person they find is clearly Supergirl.
But if you look, it looks so much like... I was thinking the same thing, too, of the initial watch. But if you look, it looks so much like Barry.
Yeah.
And when he holds its hand, if you freeze frame on...
I'm at 122.
123 shows its face.
Yeah.
It looks like Barry.
The eye looks like Barry, you're right. But is he that skinny? Which she's not either, so I don't know what I'm saying that for.
Yeah. Well, it could be like Christian Bale, from The Machinist.
Yeah.
Literally starve yourself to death.
I don't know. I'm guessing that Supergirl. You're right that it's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell, but if they're following Flashpoint, and as angry as she is, and she has a bruise on her face when she's flying later, like at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That seems like it would be her, especially since she's coming out of nowhere. Man, I'm back to watching Keaton show up, and it looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's cool is they have the original Batmobile in there. Honestly, his Batcave looks very similar to the way it was in the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Stiff with the points in it.
Well, the cave itself, it's almost like it's a little command center in the middle of a cave, not like a whole area.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about his cape.
No, that also looks cool.
Yeah, the cape looks really cool. I'm trying to find that one scene where he's running, what Barry is running at. I guess, how do you think this movie is going to go? It's got to be Barry goes back in time to try to save his mom.
Correct.
Creates the Flashpoint paradox. Finds his mom, finds Barry, things are off. Like, you think Zod's hitting early and then we're getting Dark Flash, or what?
I'm thinking this. Barry, Batman, Batfleck, they have a battle. Barry experiences the Speed Force again. Maybe he sees something. Something triggers it in the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And then the conversation, because I think that battle scene with Ben Affleck on the on
That's
the
got to be
motorcycle,
at the beginning. Yeah.
that's all the beginning of the movie. I would dare to say that's the opening 15 minutes of it. Like, this is something that they're doing. They're Justice Leaguing together, right? And then something is going to trigger. Something's going to show Barry that, wait a second, I could, or maybe he's, opens it up with like a monologue, like, man, I'm the fastest man alive and can do this, and this. And there's this thing called the Speed Force and blah, blah, blah. So maybe he's been playing in the Speed Force, but in the beginning of the movie, he's going to see something that's going to trigger him in on the idea that he can go back in time.
Might be his mom or
something.
Something.
And then he's going to have the conversation with Bruce, because Bruce is the smartest human being Barry Allen knows.
Yeah.
Arguably, Barry Allen's depicted as a very smart person. He's usually a scientist in most of the comics. Yeah. And so like, arguably, Bruce Wayne, Lex Luthor, and Barry Allen should be the three smartest people in the DCU.
Yeah.
So he's going to go to Bruce and be like, "Hey, I got this idea." And that's when Bruce says in the trailer, he's like, "I could go back in time and fix things." He goes, "Yeah, or you can go and mess it up, make it worse." And so I think something triggers, something happens, and he does it. He either has to do it, or Tom Holland is stupid enough to just do something dumb.
Yeah. Try.
And I think that scene where little Barry runs out of the house and our Barry Allen is standing there and just sees him, I think that's in the Speed Force. I think that what happens is that he's going to see himself, or he's going to relive that in the Speed Force or in a dream, but something that's going to be around the trigger point.
Yeah.
And then from there, I think he's going to go back in time. He's going to find his Flash, and Zod will be invading.
Yeah, it has to. I think it has to be early, because when they're heel to heel fighting, those are Zod's forces behind them standing there.
And I think that what they're going to do is they're going to get Batman. They're going to have. I'm thinking there's probably going to be two battles with Zod. There's going to be the initial battle with Zod, get Batman involved, and then there's going to be with Batman. We got to find this world Superman. Yeah. And Batman's going to be the one that knows how to do it. That's why they're going to go together. They're going to rescue Supergirl. She's going to come out. She's going to fight Zod. And I believe somewhere in that battle, the other Barry is going to acquire the Kryptonian armor, and or the lightning that they use to charge everything is going to meld him with the Kryptonian armor, and then he and Supergirl are going to battle. I think that's kind of where my head's at. Just watching this over and over again, I think that that's going to be your main beats right there. Is it's going to be Ben Affleck in the beginning, Flashpoint paradox, try to figure it out. Oh crap, Zod's invading. We got to find this world's Batman. This Batman. We go do the initial skirmish. We got to find this world's Superman. Yeah, and then take it down. Holy crap, we created Dark Flash. I mean, that's a lot of characters and a lot of villains and a lot of arcs and a lot that's got to happen in a couple hours. So I feel like this movie's going to move really fast. This isn't going to be like BVS, like a slow burn.
Yeah.
Like BVS is very much like it's a slow burn. There's boom, there's something really cool. Slow burn, boom, something cool. Slow burn. Like even Zack Snyder's Justice League, it moves slower and it's longer to encapsulate everything. I think this is going to be like boom, 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 boom. You're not going to get a chance to breathe.
Oh, this is interesting. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that's how Black Adam was, and I love that pace. If you go to 2 minutes, 12 seconds, there is a flash, which has to be Arbery creating a tornado.
Yep.
And in the back, there's a red Barry just standing there. At least in the milliseconds I have it at. Here, let me.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then at 2:14, you have the Dark Flash drop kicking through the tornado.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying earlier. I think that it's either he's fighting Owlberry or they're working together at this point to stop Zod, and he's drop kick supercharging the tornado.
This definitely looks like there's 3. You're right. This looks like there could be 3 berries. Because we have or that one of them changes, like you were saying.
Yeah.
That is really interesting.
Because if you look at, so 215, you got Dark Flash in the air, Red Flash doing the tornado. He drop kicks the tornado, and then, oh man, it's so fast. It's hard to catch the screen, but there's definitely something with lightning coming out of the tornado. And
Yep. And I'm at 212 right now. When Supergirl is punching Zod, you can see another flash in the back left.
Okay.
In the fog. And it looks like Blueberry because of his lightning color. Blueberry.
We got Blueberry. We got Raspberry.
I have a Blueberry for a daughter. Yeah, there's those two. Yeah, there's something. Yeah, definitely. Because, there's 2 there at 212 again. One's causing the tornado, which is our berry. You can tell by the suit. There's probably the other berry in the back, and then something changes. I think you're probably dead on because whenever Dark Flash shows up, he looks different. Yeah. We're analyzing the crap out of this, but yeah.
Right. But at 215, you can see all of Zod's ships in the background behind the tornado. So during that invasion, there are multiple flashes. They're all there. I'm thinking 3 flashes during the Zod invasion. The one flash, maybe he's questionable. Maybe he's the bad guy. Maybe he's the one. Maybe he's the frail one and this might be a third universe. This might be that he goes to one universe, gets Yellowberry, and then they go to another universe. Blueberry, Redberry, Raspberry, and Yellowberry.
Frankenberry.
That's the Dark Flash. He's Frankenberry because he's got the Kryptonian tech suit. So, and it's possible that Zod destroys this world, and that's why they go to the next one.
That'd be wait a weird, but cool.
Because if you think about it, because you see in the scene the planet, what is it? What do they call it?
Yeah,
it's like a
planet morpher or whatever it is.
It's like a terraformer. They're terraforming to be like Kryptonian. But what if in
the World Engine?
The World Engine. That's right. So what if? Okay, this is getting really deep into the weeds. All right, Owlberry goes to Blueberry's universe, and to save his mom, and creates the Flashpoint paradox, all that stuff. And then as he sees it and goes, oh, wow, this is amazing, Zod invades, destroys the world. They both tap into the Speed Force, and then they both go to the next universe because now they're two of them don't have moms. And then they're in this other one where there's 3 Flashes, one of which is potentially bad guy Flash.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a thought. I don't know if this is a good one, but
no, that's what I'm trying to figure out. There could be 2 Zod fights. It looks like it's one because it takes place on this desert battlefield.
Yeah.
And it looks like literally a desert battlefield because it looks like soldiers, like American soldiers, are getting blown up. It looks like that dead space where Superman met the general before he fought Zod.
But the Kara fight, there's snow everywhere.
Yeah. Let me get there again.
When she does the slow motion punch so she's somewhere different than that.
Let me get there. Come on.
But again, I don't know if you fight Zod there. It might be that you don't. It might be that's just the area where they find her. So
the World Engine is working. Something's going on because
it opens up with that.
Yeah, something's happening because there's a scene at 159 where Flash, which is Blueberry, is watching like a hospital collapse or something, like a museum or something collapse. Because there's no way that's our berry because it doesn't have the lines on it. Now, I could be wrong. It just doesn't look like it.
Well, at 110, the World Engine is destroying.
Yeah.
He's standing there looking at it.
Yeah, that would be interesting if the two Flashes fought Zod and lost.
And then left.
Yeah.
Which would make you want that. Then it's like, are we going to see a third Batman? Could we see a world where my thing is this, because the Flashpoint, that's where the Flash meets Thomas Wayne Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very possible World 1 is Michael Keaton, World 2 is Flashpoint,
Let's see that again.
Thomas Wayne. How cool would that be?
Is that Snow where she's punching Zod?
There's definitely Snow on top because she comes out.
Oh, but the thing when she's fighting Zod.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm saying when she comes out of the prison, she's still wearing that.
Yeah. She's in some place different. Let me see, because is that Batman blowing up Zod's machine? There's also at 216 Barry is screaming no at somebody, and it looks like he's in a house. So I mean that could be like the beginning, like you said, or like he could be watching his mom die again, or that could be anything.
Yeah.
Or let me see. Man, I really like the way Supergirl looks. I'm not gonna lie, especially when she's about to blow out the I-beams.
Mm-hmm.
She looks scared or angry. I think she looks cool.
Heck yeah, dude.
Let me see. There's Batfleck. I was trying to find the third Flash in the scene where Bad Flash jump kicks.
I like how they try to misdirect in this trailer, because during all the action sequences with Flash, Supergirl, and everything, they throw in this quick little scene of Batfleck.
Yep. On the interstate or something.
On the interstate that is nowhere near any of this other stuff. That is completely related to the motorcycle fight that we're most likely going to see in the beginning. They're just like, we got to show that blue cowl off. The blue and gray.
You might be right. There's something could happen because for some reason, as we already said, there's Blueberry is not there when they're freeing. Well, what about this, man? Why would the Flash, of all people, why would he be surrounded by guns and not be able to do anything? Because he's on his back? That doesn't make sense.
So maybe this is before maybe he doesn't have his powers right now?
Maybe. Like maybe he goes there and is depowered, that maybe they both are, and that's why they go get Bruce Wayne, who frees Supergirl or something, and then maybe the flying is how the Batarang with the lightning is how they tap into the Speed Force later to fight Zod.
You kind of, because so is it in the Flashpoint, doesn't Barry Allen get tied to a chair and Thomas Wayne?
He gets him the Speed Force back,
Gets him the Speed Force back by electrocuting him?
Yeah.
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 That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So maybe they actually free Supergirl before that even happens. Maybe he's just there trying to form the Justice League to fight Zod. And then that's not enough or something. Because then he could do several things with it. Because then the other Barry could get powers too, the Speed Source. And that could be like the start of what happens and turns him dark from there.
Yeah.
After they're fighting. I don't know, but I know it's weird to see the Flash, even though on his back, because he doesn't rely on his feet for speed. He can move fast from any position.
Yeah. I mean, we saw him, put a hot dog in someone's mouth.
Yeah, he can move quickly no matter what position he's in. But the other Barry's not there.
If you look at 212, now I don't know how many milliseconds, so it's going to be early in.
We keep saying
I know. It's a thing now. So, but I see the Flash standing, rubble, tanks, everything around him all destroyed, and the beginning of the tornado.
That's what I'm saying. There's two of them there. There's Blueberry's the one standing there, and ours is the one in the tornado. Because if you keep pausing it, you can see that it's two different Flashes.
And then there's the third one that runs through and drop kicks it. So we have definitely confirmed here there's three.
Yeah, or one turns evil, or the other one turns evil during that fight, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation it could be, because he's still, ours is still forming tornadoes when the other one is trying to drop kick him. The only reason I'm so harping on uh, Blueberry turning evil is because he's surrounded by yellow, and the Dark Flash that is drop kicking our Flash has the blue lightning.
It's possible. Good, maybe it is too.
And the belt looks to be the same. The yellow belt that the other one has. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, they definitely did a good job on the trailer. There's a ton in it.
Yeah. Yeah, we spent like an hour cutting it cut the pieces.
The only thing that I'm going to say is blatant misdirection, which there's probably more than one thing that's a little more or less obvious, is the Ben Affleck interstate scene in the middle of the chaos.
There's no way. There's no way.
You're trying to make me think he's going to be there for that, and I'm not falling for it. Not this time.
Something has happened. I'm back on Supergirl's bruise at 246. It looks like she's got a shiner there on her face somewhere. So either she's already fought Zod, or they just got her free from the institute or whatever, the lab, and she just got her suit.
246 when she's flying?
Yeah. It looks like...
It looks to me like it's her hair in her face.
I saw that, but I saw people pointing it out. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, her right eye. Either it's hair reaching all the way, because like way down here on this side.
Yeah.
It looks like her face is bruised.
It's possible.
Anyway, let me see. Maybe I can find her somewhere else. I doubt it. But the question is her ship there in the Arctic?
All right,
and if so, is Darrell going to show up?
In theory, he had a pod, she had a ship, but in the
in Flashpoint,
the
Flashpoint, the government had taken it, hadn't they?
That's getting a little deep into the weeds. I don't remember.
Well, where did she get the suit?
Well, you would think she would have to get the suit from her ship.
Yeah, so her ship could be in it, which means we might see Jor-El.
Maybe.
Russell Crowe.
That would be cool. Well, no, that wouldn't be her dad. That'd be her uncle.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I thought she was in this one, she was just not Clark.
Yeah. Oh, so you're thinking that she's a Kent. She's a L. She was still L. Kara L was still, she's just a cousin. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe in this universe it's not a cousin, it's actual.
It's just, that's just what we got.
Was born a chick, yeah. Now, I could be wrong, but
well, that's how if you look at the Dark Multiverse, you had Bryce Wayne and what's his face?
Isn't nearly as cool a name as Bruce Wayne.
Right, but Bryce was the chick who killed Aquaman, took his powers, and then drowned the entire Earth because they killed Kyle, her husband.
Yeah, they probably had it coming.
They deserved it, if you ask me. she was Batman in that universe, and whenever Aquaman, the Atlanteans killed something Kyle, Stephen Kyle, we'll call him instead of Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
She goes, kills the Atlanteans, take their power, uses the staff to then drown the entire world. And then the Batman Who Laughs is like, hey, you want to come do that somewhere else? That was freaking cool.
Batman Who Laughs is a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder who's Alfred in this. You think Alfred's dead at this point?
I mean, Batman's old.
But yeah, there's been some old Alfreds though before.
Yeah.
Like in Dark Knight Returns.
He was old.
Yeah, he was like decrepit Alfred.
What was that other one where what was that? The cyborg suit? How was the cyborg? Not the murder machine, Batman, evil Batman, but the one where they put Alfred became an AI.
Oh yeah. We could see that.
Yeah.
If you pause at 234 when she says my name is Kara, which I keep calling her Clara for some reason.
Yeah.
If you look behind the two berries, which
you can see out the window.
Yeah, or that's a TV, I think.
Well, I guess that is the TV. Yeah, you're right, because on one side it's got stripes, the other side it looks like the desert.
So Zod's ship is just coming in. So either your theory could be right, where they're gearing up for another fight with Zod, or they don't fight Zod until
Right. One and done.
Well,
You're right.
It might be that they're assembling the Justice League. Like they're getting her, they get her, and then they get their powers to go fight them. Because there's no other scene that we know of them having powers before Zod shows up.
You're right. But they're definitely they get her with the help of Batman.
Yeah.
Because they're in his dining room.
Yep. And I'm telling you, I'm thinking that's it. I'm thinking we're on to the plot because there's no way the Flash will be on his back helpless against guns unless he was depowered. And you're right, because I'd forgotten that in Flashpoint he actually was. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think we've got a pretty good order of events here.
And I will say this, if you go all the way to 254 where they show the 3 different Flashpoint covers.
Yeah, let me go. Yeah, there we are.
So they got the official movie tie-in.
Yeah.
They've got the original Flashpoint, and then they've got the Flash Volume 1, Move Forward.
Yeah, from the New 52.
I think that this is the first time I've ever seen a DC property advertise the comics.
Yeah.
So I think we are in good shape. That we're going to be staying to the source material. I mean, we've already picked out a ton of things. But in the middle, it shows, you can see Thomas Wayne Batman. So I'm calling it right now. I think we're going to see him in the film.
That would be fantastic. Man,
even if it's just really a glimpse in the Speed Force, I think we'll see him.
That would be really cool.
So, but man, that's been a good talk, man. Overall, this is my first deep dive into a trailer like this.
We got pretty nerdy with it.
Pretty granular.
But it's a great trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
it was good.
I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I don't know what they're gonna do afterward. I kind of feel bad for Supergirl. I don't think they're gonna do anything with her now. I mean, and I feel bad kind of for Keaton, even though I don't know how you waste Keaton. I don't know how you bomb something so hard, especially with Batgirl. Where it's like it was so bad that you guys had to get rid of it, which is your fault. Or it wasn't as bad and you cut it, which is still your fault.
Yeah. It's got to be, you got to think, no one cuts a movie like that anymore. No. You don't hear about stuff like that, especially something so high profile. It had to be so bad that they're like, even Keaton can't save it.
Even Brendan Fraser can't save it.
That's right. Or they just shelf it, they cancel it, they shelf it, and then after this, they bring it back to the HBO Max. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, if only we could get the rest of the Snyderverse with it.
Yeah. Did you see? So real quick, and then I got a few more minutes. Then we got to bounce. Did you see 2 days ago? It was on Valentine's Day. Was the sells the Snyderverse to Netflix, trending worldwide, blowing up everywhere.
I did see that actually, and people are making those fake posters of like Ben Affleck's Batman, like
with the Netflix logos and stuff.
I sent you the one with Darkseid blowing up the N with his
that was cool. Yeah. That was really cool.
But if they made that real, I mean, my gosh, you could just print money.
That would be some money to be printed on there.
Yeah. So no, man, this was fun. I'd like to do this a little bit more, and we can do reviews and stuff. Like,
yeah.
And I'm looking forward to working with you in the near future as well. Like, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, guys, coming up. I'm going to give you my friend Zekomancer's contact information as soon as we get off of here. He's open to, doing some gaming stuff with you. He's
sweet.
That dude has platinum so many games, like even just this year already. Like, I don't know. I'll get you that off camera, of course.
Sweet. Now let's do it right here. All the contact information, social security information, credit card information, give it all to me now.
This dude is a genius physicist. He'll track us down and go Thomas Wayne on us.
There you go. Hey, you know what? And then we would have just gotten what we wanted anyways. We have the Snyderverse in real life.
All right. Well, I'll do the official sign off on my end here and say, see you guys. I'm going to stop the recording on my end. But Darrell, it's been fun, man.
I enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much, Dan. This has been the Loot Bros Cross Godfoe.
shut up inside my bones. I don't pretend to understand the things I do not know. Try my best to get to heaven, not to been through hell. I will prevail, I will prevail. They say where there's smoke there is fire. Burn the old man, let him die with his desires. I'm back, all these chains have thrown them to the ground. I'm back to hit you all with a different sound. New chapter, same bread. Still bring the truth, and I'm willing till I'm dead. Let me see you move, let me see you dance. Going once, going twice, you won't get another chance. It's going down tonight. We are all overcomers by the bloodshed. Grace found me all alone when I was half dead. Found a purpose and a place. Filled my life with hope, done away with the disgrace.